why the Lakers are entering their biggest transition in franchise history, and why the BUSS family needs to get the hell out of town. All of this and more. This is the LA Sports Roundup podcast.
All right, lace them up, sports. Let's go.
Let's go. The LA Sports
Roundup podcast.
Stand tall and win back-to-back titles. Pulls back, three-pointer, bang! Luka Doncic nails the three. Timeout Rockets. Luka Magic is alive. Is he in? Yes. Touchdown, Puka Nacua. Touchdown, LA. Final seconds, Reeves. It'll count if it goes. Oh, he puts it in from half court at the buzzer. Under pressure. Donald got there in the air, intercepted by the Rams, and they may ride to the Super Bowl on that.
You see a guy with a Celtics jersey at Disneyland, I'm ready to kill him. Just because he's wearing a Garnett jersey, and I'm pissed.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the LA Sports Roundup podcast. I'm your host, Mike Andrade, sitting here recording August 19th, 2026. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. As you guys know, you can follow us and subscribe to all of our social media platforms. You can find us on X, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, you can find us on YouTube, and of course, if you're listening to this, you're already listening on Spotify, but go ahead, like, subscribe so you don't miss anything. Of course, we're also on Apple Podcasts, so guys, why waste your time and not find out what is going on in the world of Lace 'em Up Sports when you can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and you will be alerted anytime anything new comes in your way. For example, we have a brand new Instagram page for Wrestling with Ryan and Mike. If you're into pro wrestling and WWE is your jam, go ahead and find us on social media. That's going to be at Wrestling with Ryan and Mike. But for all of your LA sports needs, go ahead and follow us at Lace 'em Up Sports. So like I mentioned at the top of the podcast, the Lakers are in a huge transition right now, going from Mark Walter, who was only on the job as Lakers owner for 14 months, now to the era of Bob Igor and Josh Kushner. The Lakers ownership are in a the franchise is in the biggest transition period in franchise history, and why it's so important that we need to rid the past of the BUSS family, and I'm going to tell you why right now. In 1979, Dr. Jerry Buss, the greatest owner in sports history, and yes, I said that is not hyperbole. Sports history, you talk about football, basketball, baseball, hockey, you name it. Dr. Jerry Buss is the greatest owner in sports history, and the Lakers organization was so lucky to have Dr. Buss at the helm of the organization, running things for so many years, for decades. Dr. Jerry Buss was there. He was that man. He not only cared so much about his players, he treated everybody like family, and that's what Dr. Jerry Buss set the culture like for the Lakers organization at the time. No matter if the Lakers were winning or they weren't, Dr. Jerry Buss was stability. There wasn't one thing Dr. Jerry Buss wasn't willing to do for his players, and there wasn't one thing Dr. Jerry Buss wasn't willing to do for the sake of his fans and the team's overall benefit. And we were so lucky to have that for so many years. But it just felt over the last 10 years or so that the Lakers organization has been the complete opposite of stable. Instability is actually the word that we're looking for here in terms of the current Lakers ownership situation. And I'm not talking about championships, and I'm not even really talking about winning on the court right now. Although Dr. Jerry Buss, in his time period as Lakers owner, I believe won about 10 NBA championships around there, and was in the finals like half the league's existence. I mean, that's the greatness that Dr. Jerry Buss put on the floor. But I'm not even talking about that, really. I'm talking about the shit show that his kids left when Dr. Jerry Buss passed away in 2013. We are all aware of why Jeannie had to fire her brother Jim in terms of him poorly running the basketball operations for the Lakers. That's what Dr. Jerry Buss wanted. Now, look at, I have very, very much praised Dr. Jerry Buss during the course of this podcast so far. But the biggest mistake Dr. Jerry Buss had done was expect that his family was going to do a great job running the franchise just as he did and leaving it in his will for his kids to take over the franchise after his passing. He left it for Jeannie to be the face of the Lakers in terms of her being the governor and her looking after the entire Lakers organization as a total, and Jim Buss running the basketball operations alongside Mitch Kupchak, the then general manager. It was Jim who offered Luol Deng and Timofey Mozgov those ridiculous deals back in 2016 to bring them on the team, in which they had no right offering those guys those deals. I mean, for Deng, it was, 4 years, $70 million, and then you had Timofey Mozgov, I think slightly similar, about 4 years, $60-some million. Those were ridiculous contracts. The guys that were, Luol Deng was at the end of his career, and Mozgov, he was a glorified bench player. And Jim Buss offered them those contracts. Why? Who knows? It was just to fulfill what Jim Buss wanted to do, and it wasn't looking after the betterment of the team. And that's why Cheney had to eventually let him go. Now, we all know what happened, after that. They brought in Rob Pelinka, Magic Johnson, that whole thing. But eventually, they landed LeBron James, and they won the 2020 NBA championship alongside Anthony Davis. And it all seemed like everything was kosher after that, although there was some questionable decision-making in terms of who was really running the franchise. Was it Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, and the Lakers, or was it LeBron James, Rich Paul, and Clutch? Because we all know what happened with the Russell Westbrook situation, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Clutch begging for the Lakers organization to bring in Westbrook and assuring them that things were going to go okay. And when it didn't, they took no accountability for it. And I've talking at length about that whole situation. But that's just what happens when you have LeBron James on your team, right? He's such a polarizing player, and he's going to make decisions that you're going to go in line with because he is LeBron James. But one of the bigger things during that tenure was also that there were many reports that the Lakers organization was also running things very much as a mom and pop operation and penny pinching as much as they could in terms of spending on the facility, spending on bringing back players, and going over the luxury tax. We all know that they let go of Alex Caruso in the summer of 2021 because they didn't want to go into the luxury tax and other penalties surrounding that time. And that is a prime example of what a mom and pop operation does. They do not want to spend excess money in terms of hurting their own pocketbooks. When you have a family running the organization, they're looking as the Lakers to be their bread and butter in terms of bringing in income. With their ownership stakes, they're not looking for the Lakers to be a negative output in terms of spending. They want to bring in as much income as possible to secure their lifestyle and to secure them bringing in income for their families. They depend on the Lakers organization for that. That is what happens when you have an organization that has siblings and a family running the organization. They need the Lakers organization to bring them in money. Now, that is not the way teams operate nowadays. Nowadays, you have teams like the Clippers, who brought in Steve Ballmer, former CEO of Microsoft, right? Guys like that. And there's a bunch of other examples, not only in the NBA, but other franchises as well, where you bring in these billionaire conglomerate types CEOs that just have endless amounts of cash to just pour into these teams, and they're not afraid to spend money. They're not afraid to spend too much on these franchises because they're not afraid that they're going to go broke. It is the complete difference of the Buss family being millionaires and these conglomerate type CEOs being billionaires. These CEO types, their pocketbooks are almost endless, and it's not going to be a detriment for them to go into the luxury tax. It's not going to be a detriment for their families to overspend on these teams because that's what's required when you want to be able to compete in the NBA. That's required when you want to be able to compete in the NFL and MLB and all these other major sports leagues. You want to have an owner that is going to pour in cash into your training facility. Now, look at the Lakers have the UCLA Health training facility up in El Segundo, and that is a state-of-the-art facility in itself. But the Lakers have only had that for 7-8 years. Under the Buss family, they could have had that for decades, but they didn't. They were sharing the practice facility with the LA Kings up in another facility in El Segundo, and it was not state of the art whatsoever. They only had the new current training facility for maybe about 6 or 7 years now. Okay, and still now look at these other teams. What was state of the art 7 years ago isn't state of the art now. And so they're constantly having to renovate and bring in these other additions to the facility in order to stay afloat with other teams. And that's what you want in your owner. You want to have an owner that's going to pour the money into these things to be able to stay afloat with the other NBA teams, or even pass them up in terms of being a revolutionary like Dr. Jerry Buss was. The point is, that is a true mark of what the current NBA owners and other sports owners are doing now. Okay, under Jeannie Buss and under the Buss family, they had the two youngest Buss brothers, Joey and Jesse Buss, running the team's scouting department. You don't have the two youngest brothers of the family running the scouting department. That's not what modern teams do. They have the right people in the right positions. They have state-of-the-art people. They have the best professionals in the world, the best scouts in the world doing this position. They don't do it on the cheap and have family members doing it. And that's the way it was run under Jeannie Buss and the Buss family. Not saying it was all bad, but that's not what is expected of current NBA owners. Now, in June of 2025, all of this seemed to be a thing of the past when Mark Walter, one of the majority owners of the Los Angeles Dodgers, bought the Los Angeles Lakers from the Buss family for about $10 billion last June, and it seemed like the Lakers organization was finally going to have some stability with it. You had Mark Walter, who was a part of the Guggenheim Group, one of the majority owners of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Obviously, everybody knows what the Dodgers are currently, the powerhouse that the team is, how the team has revolutionized itself with Shohei Ohtani. You know, everything that the Dodgers are is what the Lakers were hoping to be. And with Mark Walter, that was going to be possible. They were already putting Lon Rosen and Andrew Friedman in office positions at the training facility to be able to bring that to life. They were going to use analytics like the Dodgers use to bring that to basketball, and for the Lakers to have the same type of culture in the front office, that type of stability. So that's why everybody and their mamas was shocked when last week Mark Walter, who was only on the job for about 14 months as the Lakers owner, decided to sell to former CEO Bob Iger and Josh Kushner the Lakers for $12.5 billion. Everyone was shocked. Nobody does that, okay? When you buy a sports team, when you're the owner of a sports team, of a NBA team or NFL team, MLB team, whatever the case may be, this isn't buying a house and then flipping it for cash. Okay? This is not liquidation. This is not assets. You are expected to pour your cash into the team and be able to turn this team around into competing for an NBA championship. That's what you're expected to do, especially with the Los Angeles Lakers. You're expected to be the owner for years to come. Years, if not decades. And truth be told, you know, he was only on the job for 14 months. What did he do? He didn't really do anything, really, besides put a couple people in place in the ownership side of things, right? He got rid of the South Bay Lakers. They're now playing for Coachella Valley. But what did Mark Walter really do as his time as Lakers owner? I can't think of really anything significant in that term. He had so much work to do. Now look, during that time, Jeannie Buss stayed on because the Buss family held on to about 17% of majority stake for the Lakers, and so that meant that Jeannie Buss was able to continue being the acting governor for the Los Angeles Lakers. But once it was announced last week that Walter was selling to Iger and Kushner, all of those things went out the window, and they put in a statement, Iger and Kushner, that they were going to remain everything the same, and if something changes, it's going to change. And certainly something did change within that time period, because the Buss family has reared its ugly head into Lakers business once again. Okay, so the Buss family, they still owned about 17% of the Lakers' majority stake here. 5 of the Jerry Buss's 6 children, Johnny, Jimmy, Janie, Joey, and Jesse, they have voted to sell their remaining stakes to Iger and Kushner, basically giving Iger and Kushner complete ownership stake of the Los Angeles Lakers. What that also does is it says in the bylaws that Jeannie Buss can no longer be acting governor of the Los Angeles Lakers because she no longer has ownership stake in the team. Now, if you're wondering how that's possible without Jeannie Buss, all they needed was 5 of the 6 siblings that were the Buss family kids running the team. All they needed was 5 of the 6, giving them majority of voting power here to sell their majority stake. They did not need Jeannie Buss's approval on this. And that is, wow, that is a quite the coup for the BUSS family here, because it was Jeannie who fired her brother. It was Jeannie who also fired the 2 siblings. Once Mark Walter took ownership, she fired Jesse and Joey. She fired them. So could this be their little revenge on Jeannie Buss? I mean, it kind of seems like it. Now Jeannie Buss is legally challenging her siblings' decision in selling their stakes of the team here. Okay, her attorney, Adam Streisand, argues that the BUSS family trust cannot sell the remaining Lakers stake without approval of the appropriate co-trustees. The dispute centers around a 2017 court ruling and the structure of the BUSS family trust. Jeannie's argument is essentially, you cannot sell these shares in a way that eliminates my ability to remain controlling owner without my approval. Now, on the flip side here, the remaining BUSS siblings think they can because of a certain bylaw here called the tag-along provision. The BUSS siblings believe that they have the right to participate in the sale because of a tag-along provision connected to the previous Mark Walter transaction. Essentially, if Walter sells his stake, the BUSS family believes that it has the contractual right to sell its remaining shares alongside him at the same valuation, meaning that the BUSS family can get the same evaluation for the remaining 17%. And that's why the 5 siblings are saying we have the right to sell. So Jeannie Buss's side is saying that no, you can't. The other 5 are saying yes, we can. Now, stupidly here, I think both sides think that they're trying to do right by their father. The 5 siblings think that they're trying to do right because this is what their dad wanted in terms of them being a family and having a decision that the family can all together come to agreement with. But Jeannie thinks that she's doing the right thing by her dad because this is what he wanted in terms of her being the face and the governor of the Los Angeles Lakers. Either way, it doesn't matter anymore. That does not matter. They're not the owners of the Lakers anymore. This only hurts the Lakers brand. It only hurts the Lakers image because it's turmoil. Turmoil that the Lakers do not need, and quite frankly, it does not matter what's so bit for the Lakers organization anymore. They need to get the hell out of town. They do. Regardless if it's Mark Walter or it's Bob Iger and Josh Kushner, the Lakers organization is not being run by the BUSS family anymore, and they need to let go. Just let go. And I think this is what they're doing, but going into another court battle or arbitration or anything like that, it does nobody any good. It really doesn't, because at the end of the day, they're no longer going to be in control of the Lakers. The Lakers organization has moved on now, okay? All the Lakers organization needs is stability, and all of this is causing is instability for the franchise. I spent time talking about how much stability Dr. Jerry Buss provided the Lakers organization, but year after year now, after his passing, up until current day, the instability that his children is causing for the Lakers organization is so detrimental. It is. It is completely detrimental for the franchise, and the franchise is better off into these other guys' hands than having the BUSS family kids running the organization, because it seems like this is the never-ending battle. I thought when Walter took over the organization that we were going to be done with this. I really did think that we were going to be rid of the BUSS family drama, but it only continues. It only continues, and it really does not matter anymore. Okay? I know Jeannie Buss, she's having a hard time of letting go because this is her father's organization, and her father wanted her to be the face of the organization here, right? But it is time for her to let go. It really is. She cannot be continuing to fight her siblings on this. It already seems like the other kids are trying to let go here, but Jeannie Buss, her being in the spotlight, is just, it's really getting in the way of what's best for the Lakers here. Okay, Jeannie? Look, we appreciate you being a trailblazer for women in sports, okay? And doing what was best for the Lakers in times where we really needed it. And trying to continue your father's legacy. We really, really appreciate that. But now, it is time for you to let go, okay? We appreciate you for all you've done. But the Lakers organization just needs stability. Now, look, there's a lot of questions into how Bob Iger and Josh Kushner are going to run the team. Obviously, we know Igor was the former CEO of Disney, and he had a lot of success here. And a lot of people are touting his success and his name and saying it's going to be a good thing for the Lakers. Kushner, I know he's had some experience running some other NBA teams like not running, but having some stake in some teams like the Memphis Grizzlies and others. So he has some experience there. And I think the both of them coming together, I hope that they have the best interest in the team and going to be able to do what's right in terms of pouring in cash where we need it. That's what the Lakers organization is in desperate need of. Stability. That's all. If Kushner and Igor can provide stability for the Lakers and show Luka Doncic that this is not a shit show, right? Because Luka Doncic, he's under contract for the next 3 years, but, let's say after that 3 years it continues to be a shit show like this, he's going to get the hell out of LA. He's going to go back to Dallas or wherever he's going to go, right? So you want to be able to show that, Luka, hey, we have stability here. Show other free agents down the pipeline, we have stability here. When you come to the Los Angeles Lakers, you know exactly what you're going to get in terms of ownership. We don't need this clown car shit show that the BUSS family is continuing to show here. And honestly, Genie BUSS, I'm blaming you for this too, because you're seemingly not ready to let go of the realm here, of the helm. The more this drags on with the BUSS family and court and arbitration and all that, it only delays the stability that the Lakers need, that they desperately need. And so I really just, the urgency for this to go away is so rampant. The season is coming up in October. We don't need any distractions. The Lakers organization does not need any distractions whatsoever. And the sooner the Lakers organization can have stability and have a set of people that are running this organization competently, the better it's going to be for this franchise going forward and showing that we're not a shit show. So I digress right there. I know that was a lot, but it's important to talk about because, look, this organization, I love it near and dearly, but, the bad publicity here, it's enough. It's enough with these guys. Enough with the BUSS family. That's why they need to get the hell out of town. You want to know what is stability, though? It is leadership on the court. And it has been reported this week that Luka Doncic is flying all of his teammates to Slovenia so they can have some team bonding, playing some golf and do some other things, practice, have some playing time, getting used to his teammates, building that chemistry. And that's really something that's great and something that's desperately needed for our leader, Luka Doncic. I've spoken about him need to step up into being the face of this franchise and being the leader that we desperately need. Now that LeBron James is gone, he is the man here. So it's great to see that he is taking his role seriously here and inviting people to Slovenia to build that team chemistry. Great to hear. All right. So I know that was a short podcast, but expect these podcasts, the LA Sports Roundup podcast, to be produced at a much more frequent rate going forward here. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. I want to thank you guys for joining in. Again, you can subscribe on all of our social media platforms at Lace Up Sports. You find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. That's where you're going to find all of our LA Sports Roundup podcasts and much, much more. Until next time, guys, we'll see you.